It is real.
This building in southwest Delhi holds a dark secret. The building houses Fairmart Travels, an innocent-sounding travel agency, except that it's just a front for a scamming business. And to the rear of the building, in a secret office, there's a room full of scammers. And incredibly, I've been able to see exactly what they do through their own CCTV.
Wait, what?
Yes, sir. I can. Yeah, I'm still there. Yep.
So you're
That looks like Hungry
lying about
Box!
that. Are you,
Hungry Box, what are you doing?
what's going on here? What's going on? Hello?
Allow me 1 minute, sir. I'm just checking that for you. Okay. Yeah. Please stay on the line.
So,
Shit.
wait, hello?
Hungry Box day
This
job.
scammer calls himself Mark Robinson, but his real name is Chewin. And yes, I'm watching him live on his
Hello?
own CCTV.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Hello?
so what's all this about
Hi.
stopped services then when they should be running? I don't get it.
Yeah, sir. Sir, you need to go ahead and get it fixed, and there will be a one-time charge, sir. Okay.
So hold on, why would you charge me when there's nothing wrong? That's quite normal.
No, there are certain technical thing that has to be fixed.
Technical things. Go on, try me. I'm quite technical.
Oh god, he's like, oh fuck.
I'm sorry, sir, but there will be a charge. If you want, we can fix it.
But
Or if you don't want, I can go out of your computer. No problem.
no, I just want to know what's wrong. I mean, you're a technician, so tell me what's wrong.
Fuck. He literally went
Sir,
like,
well, I'm just a junior level technician. We need to assign the case to the senior level technician.
isn't hacking to
You're
someone's
about to see
CCTV
one
camera
of the most
spying on them, you know,
comprehensive
illegal?
views of the inner workings of
Yes,
one of these
probably.
scam call centres ever seen on YouTube.
Critical alert from Microsoft.
But let's start at the beginning. How
Dragon
exactly
Thanks for
did I
5
find
months.
out that Fairmart Travels were behind this pop-up scam? Like most scammers, they buy fake and malicious adverts. These adverts claim that your computer has a virus and it will lock your PC
I
in
love
a way
these.
that it
They're
almost
so
forces
fun.
you to ring the number which is shown on screen. And it's not possible just to close this window. On top of this, a very loud warning will play in the background.
Security message. Your computer has been locked up. Your IP address was used without your knowledge or consent to visit websites that contains identity theft virus.
If you've not encountered anything like this before, you can see how it's possible that some people will phone the number in the hope that they can get rid of what looks like a virus. Of course, there's nothing wrong at all, it's all just to encourage the phone call. And if you watch my channel at all, you'll know that I deliberately phone these numbers. I have my PC set up in a way that if they attempt to scam me, and they usually run a very set script, I will reverse this connection and gain access to the scammer's PC. So when they did try to steal money from me, they described their organisation as iTech Securities. This would turn out to be one of many aliases which Fairmont Travels will use. And the method they used to take these payments was through PayPal, something that would allow me to trace the scam payments right back to the managing director. And when I gained this reverse access, the thing that was immediately apparent was that they had CCTV.
He's
This would
spying
provide a
on them.
fascinating insight as to how their
Maybe
operation
2
worked and what the layout of the building was. This would prove very useful for identifying who they were. On the basement floors there were server rooms, a kitchen and a canteen.
What?
The CCTV around the main gates of the building showed that there were guards present. This isn't unusual
This
in
is a
certain large
high-level
buildings in
operation.
Delhi, but it did show exactly what the road and surroundings looked like. Watching people walk around the place, I got a good sense for the layout of the building. This person, for example, is walking around the first floor, and this is to the rear of the premises. But most of the cameras indicated that this was a proper office building. There were lots of people working on desks with computers, and certainly in the main building, on floors 1 to 3, it didn't seem to be that there were any scammers present. These were real workers doing real jobs in probably a real travel agency.
It's a front.
But there were another 2 floors which were covered by CCTV, which didn't seem to have anything to do with the main office building. There was one of these floors where I was certain that the scammers were present in one room. So I needed a bit of help. Someone who could photograph the outside of the call centre and try and find out where the second building was. So I called on my friend Carl Rock. Like me, Carl exposes scams in India, and I urge you to check out his channel. In the top right hand corner, you'll see a link to his version of this video. And after Carl shot this footage, I noticed that there was something that appeared on one of the CCTV cameras. From the CCTV, I could see that there was a roof garden right outside the room that the scammers operated in. And lo and behold, right behind the Fairmart building was another building with a roof garden. Fairmart had only recently installed CCTV, and it was during that installation process that the camera was briefly fixed on that roof garden. Eventually, the camera would be turned round to a static position in front of the offices where the scamming took place. So Carl very kindly took a second lot of drone shots of the building behind Fairmart. This is where their scams operated from. This is one of the cleverest but sneakiest ways of disguising the fact that you're a scamming group. If the police ever did raid the main building, they would only find legitimate computers and legitimate offices. And I could see that it was the alleyway between the 2 buildings that was being used by scammers to move between the legitimate and illegal offices. The people who were employed to run the scams didn't even need to use the front door of the normal office. All very clever. But the CCTV didn't have any audio. But I could see them using remote access software. Here, this scammer is using GoToAssist, and even sometimes the pop-up which would appear on the
so they went all the way to
PCs.
India? That's crazy.
But although their CCTV didn't record any audio, they happened to record audio on a different system called Ringba. This is their VoIP provider, which allowed them to use UK and US phone numbers, but it had the advantage where every phone call they received was recorded.
I missed that part.
You would have good reason to wonder why a travel company would run a campaign called USA Blue Screen of Death or UK Adult. And because they recorded all of their calls, I could listen in on some of them.
For calling support, my name is Alwyn. How can I help you today?
I just got an important security message. It says my computer's being shut down.
What were you doing on the computer when you got this message? Can you lower down the volume of your computer?
So since I had all of their audio files, all I needed to do was take the timestamps of the audio and match them to the timestamps of video. This would allow me to see other people being scammed.
Boy. This is weird. I have to... What is this desk? You guys... Am I blocking it? A little bit. Look at this guy's desktop wallpaper. What the heck?
Thanks for your call. You're speaking with Luke. Can we help you?
Hi. I was trying to watch movies on my computer and it's telling me it's locked and I have to call security.
Oh no, they went to
and what were you trying to do on this computer?
Website.
I'm watching movies.
Is this your personal computer or it's a family computer?
It's a work computer.
It's work computer, okay. So do you have any IT guy?
Sorry?
Do you have any IT guy in your work, in your office?
No, I'm at home now. I brought my work laptop home.
Okay, because there will be a one-time charge if we fix something online today for you. If there's any software issues, there will be a one-time charge. So will that fine for you? Are you the authorized for that?
Why would my computer be locked in the first place? I was just watching movies.
There could be some viruses which download from that online movies website.
They never have a good explanation. People are just like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
So I have to check the computer but I have to check the computer, and according to that, there would be a one-time charge. That would be the diagnose charge, and if there is any other issues,
Why is this
they will be
happening?
charged according to that.
And how much is this charge?
The minimum, which is diagnosed charge, which will cost you around £50.
And if I don't have £50 to pay?
Then you can take this computer to local store or a local technician.
No. Alright, thank you.
Okay, no
Oh
problem.
god, it's just gone. Oh god.
And because I could see what the supervisor was monitoring, I could also see the scammers'
Probably have
names.
to plug it back in again.
The green colour meant that someone was engaged in
Alright,
a
I'll be
call with a
back.
victim,
I have to
and the
crawl
orange
under the
colour
desk.
indicated that a person was waiting on a call. And depending on the day and the time, there could be anything from just 2 agents to 22 on the floor. And when they answer their phone, they would of course never give their real name. They would always give a fake English sounding one. So I thought I would phone them up and try and work out which name they would use and see the faces on the CCTV.
But I'm hoping I can reach that guy, whatever his name is.
For calling support, this is Jerry. How may I help you?
So this guy called himself Jerry. But of course, when the office was busier, it was much harder to work out who I was speaking to, so I needed another tactic. I would deliberately change my desktop background to something really obvious.
Now type "help me" all in one word.
Help me.
And then allow one of their scammers to connect to my PC. And once the scammer had remote access to my computer, I'd simply use their CCTV to see who was looking at the monitor with the purple screen.
You need to leave the control of your mouse, sir. I'm successfully connected with you. You can see my cursor moving on the computer screen.
Oh, yeah. I see that. Right, okay.
Right, so you
So-
don't have to worry about anything, sir. You're talking to Windows certified technician. So I'm just gonna find out first of all if anything's wrong on the computer system. So how long have you had this computer, sir? Like how old is this computer?
Oh, I think, no, it's only a year old or something.
He's in.
Okay, just
Sorry,
a year
I'm
old,
sorry,
right?
just who
So let
am
me
I
just
who am I
check.
talking to here?
This is Chris Young, sir. I'm a Windows certified technician.
And so now I knew what the person who called themselves Chris Young looked like.
You might be using. I'm sorry.
Is this Microsoft
No, sir.
or
I'm.
who am
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the Microsoft. It's a Windows support. I believe you are using a Windows computer.
Unfortunately, some of the CCTV cameras were set up worse than others, and when I switched to the like of camera 5, it gave a bit of a distorted and black and white view, but it was still enough to see who I was speaking to.
The exact problem going on the computer system,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So why
Why is it
you
wiggling
got
like
the
that?
number on the computer screen is, sir, because when you first bought the computer, the securities of this computer was registered.
But the camera was more than good enough to watch the scammers squirm whenever they were challenged.
I hope you're not breaching Microsoft's copyright here. 'Cause if you put a window up saying Microsoft at the top, and you're not
You're
Microsoft.
thinking that way what you can do, sir.
They're like, you think we fucking care about
what do you
that?
want to do? What do you
Well, I
want
don't
to
know.
do?
I think
We're
I should be going to.
scammers.
breaching your security system.
No, I think you're impersonating Microsoft, and I think you're
What do you want?
trying to scam people. That's what I think is going on here.
Okay, so now you're in that pod right
He
now,
literally
right?
was like,
Well, yeah, I mean, you've lied to me about what NatStat's showing.
I'm gonna show you all the services, sir.
So the services should be stopped,
I'm
as you
gonna
well
show you all
know.
the services, everything.
Yeah, some of them should be started,
I'm
and
sorry?
some of them should be running, and some of them should be stopped because they should be started manually. So what are you going to show me here?
I'm not gonna show you anything, sir. You can. This is your computer. You can do whatever you want. Is there anything else you want to ask? Anything else you have any doubts?
Yeah, I want to know why you scam people.
it's like,
Why
it's
is
my job.
But there are hundreds of victims of this crime, and I want to do something about it. So for the first time ever,
Yeah,
I've
this poor
shared
guy's
this
helping
footage
out with his
with a
computer, and this
UK
man's being rude at me.
documentary
He's just
team
trying to
called
be like, hey
Panorama.
man, small
That
fee, I'll
team were
remove the
able to travel
viruses
to
from your
India to
computer.
confront the owner of this call centre, and I've left a link to their video in the description below. By sharing the footage, I'm hoping that more people can be made aware of these scams, and hopefully some...
What is this guy's posture? I'm blocking it, I'm sorry. That's some back hurting posture.
...will be prevented.
Ouch.
If you're a patron of mine, you can already see the first 3 parts of this video unblurred, but for the public YouTube videos I have to blur some of the details to meet YouTube's privacy policies. In part 2 of this 4-part video series, you're going to see what these scammers do every day, how their shifts work, how they get paid, how they get to and from their offices, and if they're really trusted. And in part 3, we're going to follow the money. It's not the call centre workers who make most of the money, so exactly where does it go? Who's the brains behind the organisation, and is it just one type of scam that they're involved with? Find out in part 3. These videos on YouTube will always be free. However, if you would like to support me in my efforts against scammers, here's a link to my Patreon
What
channel.
is that emote?
There you can see exclusive
What is
content
that?
and unblurred versions. Catch me on Twitter at JimBrowning11, and again, thanks for watching.
An Elden Ring NPC. Oh shit, new emote just dropped. What? Why that though, of all the things? Pot. What the heck is that? Okay, let's watch one more of these.
In part 1 of this
then something
4-part
else.
video series, I showed how Fairmart Travels operated a secret scamming call centre to the rear of their normal premises. Fairmart Travels use pop-up scams to generate calls and revenue. They will require remote access to a victim's computer, but in my case, I was able to reverse this access and get visibility of their computers. And very unusually, I could see that this operation had CCTV. I could see how their scams worked. And in this video, you're going to see how they went about scamming thousands of people in the USA, UK and Australia. Everyone in this room is a scammer. There are 28 seats, and the area in the corner is for the operations managers. These operations managers facilitate the scams, and they will monitor every PC in this room. And here is that view. The supervisors will see every PC which is switched on in the office. Some of the scammers will waste their time on the likes of websites like 9gag, while others will be looking at the inbound calls, and yet more registering customer information on a database that they call TechnoSpine. And this screen shows them preparing documentation for their victims. They will also keep an eye on the inbound calls. And here's their view of those calls. The ones coloured green are agents engaged in calls, red away from their desks, and yellow sitting waiting on calls. They will also keep in touch with their senior management team via Skype. Here's the supervisor speaking with Amit Chand.
God, I haven't used Skype.
He's the managing
in like
director
6
of
years.
Fairmart Travels and the sister company Adrit Technologies, but there'll be much more about him in the next video. But the most important job of the supervisors was to take the payment information and put them into spreadsheets. They had different payment gateways and processes depending on whether the payment was a cheque or by card. And they would use various company names. Here's a WhatsApp message sent to the supervisor telling them that they would change their name from Shankar Consulting to RAM PC Support. This happened literally overnight, and I suspect the reason is that Shankar Consulting became known as a scam operation. A Google search of Shankar Consulting shows that the business looks to be associated with scams. So looking at the checks written by their victims, you can see the name changing regularly. There was Charge 1, Shankar Consulting, and RAM PC Support.
Oh no, you
all
can
in
tell
the
that it's
space of
old
just
people.
1 year.
That's so sad.
But only a small proportion of their payments came from checks. The vast majority were through a payment gateway. And here you can see one of the supervisors summarising last night's takings. He's sending a WhatsApp message to Sahil Garg, who's the Chief Financial Officer. In a single day, they make over $14,000 using their Chinese gateway PES, Arabesque, eChecks, PayPal, GPC and wire transfer. And those figures were fairly typical. Here's the month of March last year, and it shows that they made nearly $400,000 in that month.
Wow.
Fairmart Travels are making $3 million a year in scams.
That's a
But
lot
most
more
of
than
that
I would have
$3 million
expected.
doesn't go to
Jesus.
the people working on the floor. Here on the right is Amit
They
Sindhu.
have
He
a
is the
woman
operations
scammer.
manager for Adra Technologies, and he's writing up the bonuses that each agent's entitled to. They will receive an incentive, a bonus payment for just how much money they make, and this will be a fixed value of rupees. This will be added to their fixed salary, and at the end of the week and month they will receive their bonus. But they will only typically make about $300 or $400 for every $10,000 to $20,000 in sales.
What?
And of course, you wouldn't expect these sort of payments to appear on any books. So here in the corner is the operations manager counting out some of the cash that he's going to give to some of the scammers on the floor. It's vitally important that none of this sort of activity shows up on the company accounts, so they will always use cash. And indeed, there seems to be generally trust issues anyway with the scammers and the operations management.
Wow.
At the start of every
wonder why.
12-hour shift, every agent must leave their mobile device in a side office. This prevents anyone doing any recording. This is fairly typical for scam operations. They wouldn't want to be blackmailed by anyone who had footage of some of these scams in action. Fortunately for us, Fairmart have decided to use CCTV so we can just see those scams in action anyway. Only at the end of the shift are they allowed to reclaim their mobile devices. But it can be quite boring whenever you're a scammer and you have to run a very set script. Here on the bottom left is a scammer who calls himself Nelson. Even when he's talking to one of his victims, he gets so bored he actually sits and plays Pac-Man. Listen to this for a bit of multitasking.
And can I make sure, like, is it like a laptop or a regular desktop computer?
It's a laptop, Microsoft.
Laptop, right, Microsoft. And which window are you running on it? Is it like Windows 10 or like the previous version?
What
yeah,
a job.
I'm pretty sure it's Windows 10.
Job.
10, right. So anyway, you don't have to worry, right? See, sometimes what happened whenever we browse anything over the internet, okay? By any chance, if you might have clicked on any kind of bad link or some kind of unknown or unsecure site.
He will continue his Pac-Man game until the time that his victim runs the remote access software. Only at this point will he give up gaming and try and persuade the victim that she's got a virus. You can see the picture of the fake virus message very clearly on the victim's screen.
1 minute here. So like how old is this computer, do you know?
I buy for her from 7.
Alright. So as far as I can see, I'm not pretty sure on which website it was exactly. I need to go ahead and check that out for you, okay? Please be with me.
Oh, okay.
But all of these scammers needed GoToAssist. That's the software that they use to remotely access their victims' PCs, and I was able to observe exactly how they get their hands on the software. The agents would ask the supervisor for a username and password for GoToAssist. They would create these on a daily basis. They would simply create brand new disposable email addresses and use those to sign up for a trial version of GoToAssist. This makes it far too easy for scammers just like Fairmart to abuse the GoToAssist software. If there were a better process for restricting the use of this trial version, I'm certain sure the software wouldn't be abused as much as it is. If anyone from GoToAssist watches these videos, please take note of how the software is regularly abused by scammers. Please do something about this. And Fairmart were involved in more than one type of scam. You've seen the pop-up scams already, but here, courtesy of this guy's WhatsApp, you can see that they were doing outbound calls as well. They seemed to target the people who had already fallen for scams.
Dear user, your IP address has been blocked due to suspicious activities on your network. Your personal information may get stolen, so please do not log into your email and banking. To report this issue, please contact Windows Support at 1-855-482-2885 or press 1 to speak to our agent.
And they would also pretend to be Amazon and send a lot of fake emails out. Although I don't have the original email, This is an actual voice recording of Luke, who we saw earlier, trying to persuade a victim that he really is Amazon.
Thank you for calling Amazon. This is Luke. Can I help you?
Yeah, I was just getting a email said I ordered a TV, but I did not.
Alright, sir. Just give a moment. Let me check. And when did you receive this email?
Today at 3:48.
May I have the email address?
Let's see, my email address is j@yahoo.com.
Very sneakily, what Lalit does here is enter the password reset routine for Amazon.
Oh
He
God!
types the victim's email address, then asks him for the one-time PIN.
I'm going to send you a one-time verification code, okay?
Oh my God! Oh, that's
Just
so...
to verify that I'm talking to the right customer, okay?
Oh
So
God.
please check your email and give me the code, sir.
I can see how a lot of
If anyone
people
ever
would fall
asks
for
you
that,
to read
I
out
guess.
a one-time PIN, it's almost certainly
I
going
guess
to be a
if they
scam.
didn't know
Always be on
stuff.
the lookout for this. If you're a patron of mine, you can see the whole audio of this scam happening from beginning to end. But this type of scam is all about getting a gift card from the victim. They will describe it as a security card, but scammers prefer gift card numbers these days because the money can cleanly be laundered and it's very difficult, if not impossible, to get that money back. And because these are 12-hour shifts, depending on how many pop-ups or which type of emails have sent
12
out,
hours?
it can get very busy and people will regularly walk around offering tea and coffee. But of course, with the CCTV there, I can't resist the opportunity to phone up Fairmart
A
Chattels
kid at my
and
college
challenge
did that
some of the
to girls to get onto their cloud photos and he went to prison?
scammers
What the
on
fuck?
floor. I'm going to be speaking to this person. He gives his name
Ew.
as Travis Dean, but his real name is Susan.
God. It ringing.
Thank you for calling support this side, Travis. How can I help you?
Hi, yeah, I've got like a computer lock warning message in front of me, and there's like a beeping sound that says to ring this number.
Like what exactly you were doing on the computer, sir, when this happened?
So I was trying to watch a movie, and it's just
Okay.
stopped, and it's kind of beeping away at me here.
No problem, sir. I will check that for you. Can you please confirm me your first and last name?
Yeah, it's Dilbert Gulkenspine.
Dilbert Gulkenspine. Good
Okay,
fake
and the
name.
computer that you have
Yes,
is a
it's
laptop or is it a
Pac-Man
desktop?
Man!
Yes, he's playing Pac-Man as he's talking to me.
Okay. So just do one thing, sir. I will just check what exactly wrong is going on. Look onto your keyboard.
But instead of following his instructions, I decide to ask him who exactly they are.
I could find a website here. What website am I looking for?
If you talk about my company's website, it's iTech, ITECH hyphen security. That's our website.
So I can find it on my phone here.
Yeah, just please find it, sir. Just take your time and find it.
Right, so I've got like a website here, iTech Security Technical Support, and there's a USA, UK, Australia number.
Yes, sir. And on the very bottom, sir, you will find my headquarters as well in UK.
Right, so you're in the UK, yeah?
Plymouth address.
You're in the UK.
No, right now we are located in California.
Right, so what time is it at California? Hello?
What kind of question is that, sir?
I don't believe
What
you're in
kind of
California.
question
I think you
is
have to
that?
look it up.
Oh my God.
Sir, I'm not here to answer these kinds of questions, sir. That what is the time in California?
Well, you don't know it because you're not there, are you?
Oh, fuck.
Sir, how can you tell that we are not in
him
California,
good.
sir?
Because
Our
you'd be able to
headquarters are
answer
based
it.
in San Jose, California.
You'd be able to answer it straight away. Instead, you're like,
It's 6 o'clock in California, sir.
so you had to look it up. And even
Sir,
then,
why
it's-
will I look it up, sir? We are not allowed to. We are not. I'm just wearing my watch.
I was severely tempted to stop playing Pac-Man, but I pushed him some more on his location.
That would be so...
if you're in San Jose,
He would probably shit
what does
himself.
the center What's the central road in San Jose called?
I'm not here to answer these questions, sir.
Okay, that tells me everything I need to know. If you really lived there, you would name one restaurant anywhere at all in San Jose.
Let me tell you one thing, sir. Let me tell you
Just
one
name
thing.
me one
I'm an
street.
Indian.
One
Okay,
street.
and my headquarters.
Are you
I beg your pardon?
Are you in San Jose or not?
Oh God, he's googling.
Definitely, sir.
Definitely.
Okay. Can you name me one restaurant in San Jose without looking at Google?
Why should I tell you these questions, sir?
Because you'd be able
Why
to
should I
answer
tell
it
you
straight
these
away
questions?
without Googling it.
No, I'm not googling it, sir. And I'm not even telling
I'm
you.
not googling it. Oh God.
Okay, so name me a restaurant in San Jose.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell you.
I know you don't, because you can't
I'm
find
not
one on
here to
Google.
answer these questions. I have many. I can find on Google as well.
I know, and that's
But I
probably
don't
what you're
want to
doing.
do that. Because I'm not here to answer these questions. I'm not here to answer these questions.
Well, I bet you're looking at Google right now.
I'm not doing that, sir.
Okay, so name me, I don't know what the railway station is called in San Jose.
I don't know that as well. I said, sir, I don't live in San Jose. I'm
do
an
you live?
Indian. My headquarters are based in San Jose, so I do my job over here.
So where do you live?
I'm an Indian. I said I live in India, but in San Jose we are having our headquarters, so I travel across the world.
So sorry, you are in India then?
Yeah, he
No, I'm not in
commutes
India.
all
Right
the
now
way
I'm
from
in
India
San Jose.
to
Right, so
San
why don't
Jose.
you know anything about San Jose?
Because I love my job, I respect my job. I don't come here to make fun, and I don't come here to travel. I come here to do my job.
He comes to play
So
Pac-Man.
you must live outside the office somewhere.
Yeah, it's a Trimble Road.
Trimble
in San
Road.
Jose.
Trimble Road is where your headquarters are. I'm asking even to name the street that you live in.
Sir, if I am living in Trimble Road, definitely my headquarters is there as well, sir.
So you
181 West Trimble Road.
So you live beside where you work, the same street.
Sir, are you insane? What question you're asking me, sir? If you're having an
Are you
office over there,
insane?
definitely you will be there in the office. Why will you live at your home?
So I'm just asking because I've just looked at where Trimble Road is in San Jose.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it in Street View? Because I'm looking at it, and it's all offices. There's no residential places there. Have a look yourself.
Yeah.
You plainly
That
don't live
does
there.
not mean that if that does not mean
He's
that I do
fucking
not
with
live
this
over
guy
here.
too much.
We are having a team of almost like 150 to 200 people. We all live in office only, sir.
You live in the office. You sleep in the office, do you?
Yeah.
Really? You have beds in the office?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you actually sleep there as well, and you don't go out, and you've never heard of any streets in San Jose.
No, let me tell you one thing. Offices in your street might be small, sir, but in our street, the offices are very big.
I know, I'm looking at it in Street View, and they're all business offices. I just can't believe that you actually sleep in your office as well, and presumably when you landed
Why
in
didn't you
San
do
Jose.
one thing, sir? Why did you...
Uh-huh.
No. Why don't you do one thing, sir? Okay?
Yeah.
Book your ticket to California and come tomorrow to California.
I've been there.
Book your ticket and come tomorrow to California. Why are you looking on the Google,
He's
sir?
telling him to
I'm not
pull
looking
up.
on Google. I've
Oh,
been to San
God.
Jose already. I have friends in San Jose. Well, I
Sleeping where you work and never leave the house sounds like OTK. Fuck.
have to book my ticket to Delhi and visit you there.
No, dude.
Why will you book the ticket to Delhi?
Because that's where you are, I'm sure.
No, you're wrong. I'm not in Delhi.
Well, why has everybody around you that I can hear got an Indian accent?
There is no... Who
There
said
is
that
no-
everyone over here has an Indian accent?
I can hear all the voices around you. There must be people next to you, and they're all speaking with an Indian accent. Why? Why would
What
that be?
what they're saying, sir? No, no. What they're saying? Can you hear them?
Oh yes,
Can
I
you
can.
tell them what did you
Yeah,
hear them?
yeah, and they keep saying what you said to
What they're
me.
saying?
Things like press the Windows key with the letter
No, they are
R
not
for
saying that,
Romeo.
sir.
Well, I just heard that a minute ago.
No, no, no. They are not saying.
Well, they all have
Near me,
Indian
there is no
accents.
one
Someone
sitting.
said this is
Only
kind
one
of
person.
romantic. Dang, they're
And
kind
they're
of
all
No,
fucked
no.
right
following.
Near
now.
me, no one is sitting. Only one person is sitting.
Yeah, but they're all following the old tech support script, scam script. They're all
Oh god.
saying press
He's
Windows
getting
R.
into the juice.
Yeah.
The meat of it.
I think you know this, don't you? Are you still there?
He's losing his mind!
I mean, it can't be
He's
a
getting
difficult thing
frustrated.
to work this out, you know. I just can't understand why you're not honest.
I don't want to answer these questions, sir. You have wasted much of my time. Thank you so much.
I haven't really, Travis. I haven't really. I just want to know why you're scamming people. Nope, you cut me off. Yep. Yep.
And in part 3 of this video series, we follow the money and find out who all the key players are. We can trace
Lord.
all of the scam payments back to this man's PayPal account. We'll find out who he is and how he sets up his business. And things have moved on since I initially created this video. Now the police have become involved and they've arrested the person at the top here.
Oh shit.
The company goes by several aliases and they're
He's
on
helping.
screen. And if you think you or a relative has been affected by their scam,
Who's this
please
YouTuber?
contact the police on the email
their name
address
is
shown
Jim
here
Browning.
and in the description. My aim with these videos is to publicise exactly how these scams work and perhaps find the people who are responsible. If you enjoy my work and can support me, I've left a link here to Patreon, and I'm also on Twitter at JimBrowning11, and once again, thanks for all of your support.
I keep seeing people mentioning Kid Boga. It does have very similar vibes, except he's not really trolling the scammers. He's like trying to.
In part 1 of this
catch
video
them
series, I
in the
showed how
act.
Fairmart Travels had a secret scam call centre to the rear of their premises. Fairmart are involved in pop-up scams, and they also pretend to be Amazon. They will use both these sorts of scams to try and get money out of their victims. In part 2, we saw the supervisor noting just how much money each of the scammers had made, and this would determine their bonus. Their bonus payment was paid in cash. In the corner here is Amit Sindhu. He is one of 3 or 4 operations managers for Adrit Technologies, or as they call themselves, 11 Hub. He's not only responsible for handing out the bonuses, but also making sure that the scams operate as intended. According to Amit's LinkedIn profile, and I suspect this
He
page
has a
will be removed
LinkedIn.
soon, he seems to have been working in the company since 2015. But the
Jesus.
person who sits at the top of the chain is also called Amit. On the left here is Amit Chauhan. He is the CEO of
pretty
Fairmont
cozy
Travels
office.
and he's the ex-director of Adrit Technologies. It's not clear
It's
why he's
crazy
no longer
that
that
this guy
director,
found all
but he
this
was
about
until
them.
fairly recently.
He sees everything.
Indeed, Adrit Technologies still have Amit's email address as the contact email for the company. Once this video is released, undoubtedly Amit will try to distance himself from this company. But the scammers were taking payments, and I traced the PayPal payments directly to Amit. This is a screenshot from their PayPal page. It clearly shows that Amit Chauhan is the Chief Financial Officer of Adrit Tech, and his business was known by several aliases. Here you can see 24/7 Fix. And when the supervisors would log into PayPal, it was clear that their victims' details were also there. They would send invoices via PayPal, so I could trace all of the payments from the victims directly to Amit. And the
They're all
PayPal
the
account
same
showed
day.
that thousands of dollars were being transferred from victims in the USA, UK and Australia. And don't forget that this was just one of 5 different payment gateways being used by this company.
I can't
When
believe
the
they make
payments came off
$3
hold,
million
they were
a year.
transferred to an
This
Indian
is
bank
one
account.
scamming
But
place
Amit
in
was
1
very
year.
careful never to set foot in the
That's
scamming
actually
offices
fucking
themselves.
crazy.
Instead, he would
I would
meet
have
with the
expected
floor
a lot
supervisors
less.
on occasions in his office in the main building. And it was in those offices that Amit masterminded some of the scams that his company would run. Here in Amit's office, he would invite some of his business colleagues. The big guy on the bottom left is called Anuj, and the other guy on the right is called Amar. Between the three of them, they run a company called Z-Core Solutions, and here they're discussing some of the next scams that they're about to undertake. Fortunately for us, the only part of the building where the CCTV has audio are his offices, so we're able to pick up on these conversations. Most of it is in Hindi, but I've got a few people to help me with the translation. I've only highlighted the parts which are in English, so that it's easier to understand. The group discuss how many agents they'll need, how many days they'll work, what sort of commission they'll get,
He
and
sees
ultimately
everything.
what sort of scams they're about
Freaking
to operate.
Jim.
Until this point, they'd mostly been
I'm
running
scared of
pop-up
Jim,
scams,
but I also
but
respect
here
Jim.
the suggestion is to run the refund scam and pretend to be Amazon.
So the lesser the people know of this will become our job easier.
And not only was the work to be kept a secret, here they're discussing how they do the Amazon scam.
God, this audio. The
The Amazon
CCTV
scam
microphone.
is becoming more and more
Jim
common.
is literally in
They
the
will send a
wall.
lot of bulk emails and pretend to be a billing department of Amazon. The order will contain the victim's name, but of course it's all fake. They just want the phone call. When an agent receives this phone call, they will try and persuade the victim that they've got a security or hacker problem. And the way to get around this problem is to go and buy a card. They will describe this as a security card, but in fact the victim would be buying a gift card, the currency of scammers. If you're a patron of mine, you can hear some recent examples of some of the audio that I've captured where Fairmart tried this scam. And to the outside world, Amit appears like a very successful entrepreneur. Last year, he visited Germany and Amsterdam, Singapore, New York, Las Vegas,
We're kindred
Bhutan,
spirits. The way he was
Chandigarh,
standing.
Thailand, and most recently Sri Lanka. Around the Fairmart offices, he has profound quotes from the likes
In
of
business are never done. Great thing. Oh, this confused me. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by it. They have a
Jobs.
Steve Jobs
And
quote
this
on
is
this
his
wall.
birthday cake, which features
What? American $1 bills. What is that the building that they scam people in?
parts of Amit's life. On the left here is his black Porsche.
And the
He has a real
Porsche.
one. On the
Jesus.
right are some iPads and other Apple devices. In the middle, a laptop. And on the right hand side, lots of dollars. And to the right of all of this is his main Fairmart building. No mention
where
of the
they
secret one
scam
out
people.
the back. But all the time, his company are scamming older or vulnerable people.
I have MS, and I'm
Oh,
a nervous
no.
wreck, and I can't understand a lot. So I'm listening
Don't worry,
real
don't.
close.
Don't be getting nervous, miss, okay? Right now you're in safe hands, okay? That is the reason you're telling me that you won't live for next year as well, right?
Probably not.
What?
No, don't tell me that, miss.
I'm a diabetic.
How can
and
this
I'm
guy be saying
legally
this and
blind.
laughing while
Okay.
scamming this person? What the fuck?
And, I'm pretty.
Some of the phone calls that I listened into are absolutely heartbreaking, and that was just one of them. I have tried to report Fairmart Travels and Amit Chowan via the National Cybercrime Portal for India, but this portal just doesn't work. You're supposed to receive a one-time PIN to a mobile number, but it looks as if that part is broken, so I can't even report the crime this way. Instead, and only because I know exactly where the building is and therefore which police service and which district is involved, I reported the crime to the Haryana police. And initially, when I submitted the report, absolutely nothing happened. I didn't even get an acknowledgement email. This was pretty much expected. I've never really had any response from any police service in India. So instead, I did something new. I reached out to a documentary crew in the UK called Panorama, and I shared my material with them. They have much larger budgets than me, and they even had the ability to travel to India to confront the owners, and that's exactly what they did. There's a link in the top right hand corner to that Panorama documentary, and I'll pick up in part 4 what happened whenever those videos and the documentary went live.
Oh
but
God.
to reuse
Part
Amit's
4.
favourite quote, this operation can only work if it's run by a team of people, and one of the most important people in that team is Sahil Garg. He is the accountant for this company. And I witnessed the operations managers making their daily reports on how much money they'd scammed the previous day directly to Sahil. So I can now put together a picture of the key players in this scam. Top of the tree is Amit Chauhan, and he is the director of Fairmart Travels and the ex-director of Adrit Technologies.
What?
The people that he plans the scams with are called Anuj and Amar, and between the three of them they own 2 companies, Z-Core Solutions and CapNerds Venture. Anuj and Amar independently have a different travel company called Travelomatrix and a marketing division called A Square Marketing. They are also co-owners of a nightclub in Delhi called Rower. Amar especially posts lots of
Delhi?
his footage inside the nightclub on his Facebook page. You have to wonder where all the money came from to buy a nightclub.
Oh, in
like
Delhi!
This.
I heard and Delhi. I was like, what?
And so back to the key players. One of the most important people here we've covered is Sahil Garg, and he is the accountant for all of Amit's businesses, including Fairmart and Adrit Technologies.
Delhi would have been
the co-director
smarter.
of Fairmart is Asif Bhatt. It's unclear whether he has anything to do with the scams, so I've left his face blurred. The 2 people beside him in this diagram are Asif Chowdhury and Amit Sindhu, both operations managers for Adrit Technologies. And finally, at the top of the diagram is another director of one of the companies that Amit owns. Amit's wife Sonia is co-director of CapNerds Payment Solutions. It's unclear what this payment solutions business does, but there is a similarly named CapNerds Venture, which is owned by Amar, Anuj and Amit. Given their track record, it's hard not to believe this is associated with scams. But what about Amit's main business, Fairmart.com? Is it legitimate? Well, in 2019, they had a plainly fake address. They claimed to be at an address in Delaware, but when looked at on Google Maps, it was plainly a residential area and not an office location. But since the TV crew become more interested in Fairmart, they've now rented a different office address, this time in Denver, Colorado. I've been told that although they rent this address, they don't seem to meet there very often. But on Trustpilot, Fairmart.com seems to be doing pretty well. 80% of the reviews look like they're excellent, and only a small proportion seem to be poor or bad. But when you look carefully at these reviews, there does seem to be a bit of a pattern. Any of the good or excellent reviews seem to name every agent by name, and the good reviewers only seem to have ever reviewed just one company, Fairmart.com. The poor reviews, however, don't mention agents by name. The original promised fare is increased, and it seems almost impossible to get your money back. So although I can't definitively prove this, I believe that Fairmart.com are internally writing their own good reviews, and any poor ones are legitimate. But there's one thing that I am sure about, and that's that they pretend to be the reservations for Delta Airlines. They've probably seeded their phone number to make it look as if they are the front desk for Delta. The following conversation was recorded in December 2019 and shows just how deceptive Fairmart will be.
Thank you for calling reservations. How may I help you today?
Yes, good evening. My name is Randy.
Randy,
I'm holding
no.
a Delta Sky Miles credit card, and I have a challenge here. I wanted to use points to travel. I'm going for my residency for my doctorate, and I'm coming up short here on points. I was told by someone that you all can assist for those, Delta Sky Miles card holders that you all might be able to assist me with some points to try and book this flight. So I was
Okay.
kind of.
Sure, definitely. So what I understood here is you would like to book a flight using your points, right?
That's correct, yes.
Definitely, sir. I can assist on that. So, okay, how many points do you have, sir?
That's a good question. I think I have around 5,000 or so to book this flight. I can give you my information.
No,
That is fine,
Randy!
sir. I would love to check that for you. Can I have your Delta Sky Miles number?
Up until this point, this Fairmart agent hasn't given any indication that he isn't Delta, and he has no access to any systems which will allow him to look up the Delta Sky Miles details. So what does he do?
Okay, 921.
And can I have the password?
And can I have the password? He's breaking the #1 rule of any customer interactions. No legitimate person will ever ask for your password. This is a sure sign that it's a scam. Even the real Delta Airways would never ask their customers for their password.
Randy?
This victim is slightly taken aback by someone asking for his password.
Do they normally give out the password?
Yeah, of course. Without a password, you cannot log in.
Okay, hold on one
No!
Okay,
I believed in you, Randy. No!
Okay, thank you so much.
Randy!
I won't play the rest of this audio, but suffice to say, this agent wasn't able to log in despite having the right password.
Oh, nice.
And there may have been security checks which triggered a blocked login. So even if Fairmart do call themselves a legitimate travel company, some of their practices are at best questionable. The reviews are certainly fake, and these practices of asking people for their passwords is probably illegal. I have passed on this information to the Delta Sky Miles team, and hopefully they are able to take action against Fairmart.com. So we're going to leave part 3 with Luke here on the right, chalking up just how much money he's made on this shift. When he writes it up on the board, it should translate into a nice bonus for him. He, together with about 30 other scammers, have managed to scam upwards of $3 million from people all over the UK, US and Australia. He is employed by Adra Technologies, an offshoot of Fairmart.com, and they use common infrastructure. They'll typically use Ringba.com and ETItel for their phone numbers, again shared with their main business, Fairmart.com. And once they have scammed people, they will follow up on these scams with other ones. They will claim that there are yet more hackers or problems on people's PCs in order to get yet more money out of their victims. They will pretend to be other companies like Amazon and Delta Airlines in order to extract as much money as possible. So as Lalit goes into the side office to recollect his mobile phone, his company, together with hundreds of others in the Kolkata and Delhi districts, will be undertaking the same sort of scams day in, day out. And it's only when the police in India get serious about this sort of crime will something be done about it. The portal for cybercrime reporting needs to be fixed, and any complaints need to be followed up on. I can provide lots of intelligence for other similar scam call centres. But until this action happens, people here like Luke, or Lalit as he's really called, will be free to do these scams as often as he likes. And not only will he make money, but his boss.
It's so funny to me. Jim just has
every camera. So as we watch him leave the scam call center,
sees everything.
Let's hope that some good at least comes from this set of videos.
Jim.
I certainly intend to expose these scammers for what they do, and if you wish to support me, there is a link to my Patreon channel below. This is never compulsory. I'll always make these videos free, but any support you can give me is most welcome. The very last part of this video series will cover what happened whenever all of the videos went live and the UK documentary went out. There will be a link in the description to all the previous parts of this video and this new one when it's available. Finally, thank you again for your continued support.
Thank you, Jim.
On the next video.
Jim's making a difference in the world. Oh god, I hope I have enough time to watch the next one. Yes! I have enough time to watch this. We have enough time to watch the last one before I have to go. Part 4. I know he mentioned like a documentary. I think he talks about it in this one. I don't know. Otherwise we can watch the documentary.
In the first few parts of this video series...
Can you link it? The channel's called Jim Browning. And it's like some of his top videos.
Discovered a scamming call center who had CCTV. I was able to use their own CCTV to watch how they ran their scams. They had a secret office out the back of their main building where around 20 to 30 scammers would operate on a daily basis. They would get bonuses paid in cash for scamming people in Australia, UK and the US. And they would run multiple scams. They would pretend to be Amazon or Microsoft and send out pop-up messages to infect people's computers. But it was only when I started working with a BBC documentary crew that the world had its attention on this scam.
Thank you for holding the line. I really appreciate your time and patience. My name is Chris Lawson.
I bet it's starting warm where you are.
Yeah, it is very hot here in California.
Bloody hell, I'll have to come over there then.
Yeah, please. We'll go to the beaches, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The BBC produced this trailer before their documentary, and it had a huge impact.
We need to repair all the services which got
getting
broken,
the recognition.
Right?
Yeah, I see that.
Sir, there would be a charge of $12.95, okay?
Oh, bloody hell, I heard that.
So let me get it done.
No.
Hey, why are you crying, man? You're a very good man. Why are you
These
crying?
people are fucked!
Suffer from depression.
No, sir. Everything will be okay. Don't worry, okay?
Yeah.
Now, promise me you won't cry again, okay?
These pictures of scammers laughing at one of their unfortunate victims had a very profound effect on quite a number of people. And the CCTV caught not just the scammers themselves, but the boss, Amit Chohan. And by tracing the payments from the victims, it led directly to this call centre boss. It also showed him planning some scams and taking advice from others who were clearly experienced in this sort of fraud.
We focus on the bottom line. That is how we should measure our success. We don't give a about the customer.
And I was able to show
They
a
think
direct
they're
link
so
between the
freaking cool.
victims' payments and Amit Chohan's accounts. And with that money, he was living a luxury lifestyle. And thanks to the BBC and this trailer, it caught the attention of quite a few media organisations. The story went as far as New Zealand. So when the TV documentary was broadcast on UK national television on the 2nd of March 2020, it reached a very wide audience. And one of the people supposedly watching was this man. His name is Karan Goel, and he heads up the cybercrime police in Gurugram, the location of Amit's scam call centre. And in under 12 hours from the broadcast of the TV programme, Karan's team call centre. And in under 12 hours...
Be safe. Don't... Smart. What are these clip art things? Okay, sorry.
From the
I just like
broadcast
this
of the
poster.
TV programme, Karan's team raided the call centre. And they went into the right place. They went to the building behind Fairmart where the scammers were located. They also went to Amit Chohan's luxurious home address, and there they picked up some of his laptop equipment. Chohan was living in the DLF Magnolias building in New Delhi. The Magnolias apartment complex was a luxurious location. It overlooked an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
This pisses
and
me off because he's such a piece of shit.
And Chohan's rent for this apartment was 5 lakh or 500,000 rupees. That's about $6,000 per month. That sort of rent is almost unheard of in Delhi. And according to reports, the laptop contained the scripts which the scammers would use to dupe their victims. And they also uncovered personal details of those victims, including email addresses, credit and debit card numbers, and checks written to one of the many aliases. So as Goel was giving the press conference, he revealed some of the critical details of the arrest. And it wasn't just Amit Chohan who was arrested. Here on the right is Sumit Kumar, who was supposedly the accountant for this company.
These
The
are like the
newspaper
dudes
reports
and these are the
revealed that
police,
Sean
right?
and Kumar were both
They have to
college
hold hands?
dropouts,
They don't use, like,
and that the
handcuffs?
police had sufficient evidence to press charges against both. So bizarrely, hand in hand with their arresting police officers, they were
Bizarrely,
paraded in front of the cameras in the Gurugram police station. So this is obviously an amazing success, something I never thought would be possible.
Dude, they've got the death grip.
Honestly,
You can
I
see
don't
it's
think
like
anything would have happened.
their
had I
hands
just
are loose
produced
and then the
video
police are
on
like
my own. It really needed the extra media
handcuffs last
attention.
resort. Oh, I see.
But there are still a number of loose ends, particularly how are the victims going to get their money back? Well, there's at least one good news story, because the person who was featured at the start of this video, who lost more than £1,200, has been compensated.
Yay!
But that didn't come through the seizure of assets. Instead, someone who's a viewer of my channel felt so sorry for the man who had been crying and was suffering from depression that he offered to return all of the money that was scammed to him from his own pocket. I've got to keep the victim's details as private as possible.
That's so nice.
But Rory, on behalf of this entire channel, thank you for being so generous to a complete
Rory.
stranger. And police in Gurugram have asked anyone who thinks they may be a victim of this scam to get in touch via the email address on screen and in the description. But there was more than just Chohan and his accountant involved in this scam. We had CCTV which showed him meeting with some of his business associates, and they were the ones who were able to explain to him how certain scams would work. And even though they had been caught red-handed explaining how those scams would be set up, they still had the nerve to complain about the videos which had their faces and names
Wait, what?
already
For privacy complaint? Oh my
blurred
god.
on YouTube. So even though I'd been careful to blur out their details, they still wanted to silence me, and it's understandable. So in a clear abuse of YouTube's privacy policy, they raised this complaint against me. But I've done absolutely nothing wrong. None of their personal details are revealed, and instead I'm going to put a link in the description to where people can read more about these two characters. But that will of course be outside YouTube. The link will show the evidence that
Jim.
this pair run other scam call centres, and this is how they've got the expertise. Let's just hope that the Haryana police will also take an interest in these two. But the police themselves have work to do to get their own house in order. The official National Cybercrime Reporting Portal only works if you've got an Indian mobile number. And not only that, you have to select the specific state because that particular police force will be the ones investigating. Most people will have an IP address at best and will not know the exact region and therefore the exact police force to get in touch with. And it doesn't help when the Delhi police admit that it's a difficult crime to crack. Their systems should help them. I'm showing a still from the Panorama documentary where they interview one of the police heads in Delhi. He said that very few victims come forward to report the crime, and well, their portal won't help in that respect.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
it's
them
also
don't even know,
almost
I'm
impossible
sure.
to identify the call centre involved, and I totally agree with that. If more people were allowed to legally do what I do, I'm certain sure that a lot of these call centres would be uncovered and more arrests could be made. But this is why I do what I've been doing. You cannot tell from the phone number or anything to do with the caller ID who is behind the scam. You don't even need a physical telephone line in your office to run these robocall scams. And there are hundreds of these scam call centres throughout India.
And just one of them
mostly
makes
in the
$3
Delhi
million
and Kolkata
a year.
regions, but also in some of the other major cities. I have reported to the police almost
my
every
camera
one
froze
of the
again?
pins on this map, but
come
until now,
on. Why is
nothing
this
has been done about it. So I'm hoping that this series of videos can actually make a real change in India and the Indian police's ability to act on the reports that I send. I still can't encourage anyone to do exactly what I do because it's perceived as illegal. However, when the scammer connects to my computer, I can show 100% of the time that they were trying to steal money from me. This may not be a valid defense, but at least it will probably discourage a complaint. But there may be some unexpected benefits of this particular scam. On screen is rescam.org.
Hey, nice to meet you.
What the hell
Welcome
is this?
to Rescam.
And what does this system do?
I'm an artificially intelligent email bot made to reply to scam emails.
I'm anyone.
What the?
As far as scammers will know, I'm you.
And what this bot will do is...
I adopt one of my many personalities.
To continue the conversation of any would-be victim.
I waste their time with a never-ending series of questions and anecdotes.
So that they have less time to pursue real people.
So although this website is geared to automatically replying to scam emails, can you imagine a system which would trap those robocalls and keep scammers occupied with realistic conversations?
They won't know when they're scamming or getting scammed out of their own time. It's bad for business. Deleting a scam email protects you, but forwarding to
me at rescam.org
protects others.
It's also kind of funny. Ha ha!
So because I've got more than 70,000 recordings of real scams, it may be possible through artificial intelligence to keep scammers occupied when they make phone calls. Obviously these calls would need to be anonymised, and there are probably some legal implications of all of this, but in theory they could be used to help prevent scams in the future. I'm currently in discussions with a US university to try and do just that.
Holy
Can we
shit!
create an artificial intelligence which will keep scammers occupied on the phone?
Dude, Jim's
Imagine
freaking
an
cool.
automated version of
Kit
Kitboga
Boga!
or Hoax Hotel. The conversations wouldn't be as funny, but they certainly will be realistic. But since I may never get to see these scammers on their own CCTV again, I'm going to leave you with a little clip with Sam here in the top right being called out by one of his potential victims.
Oh shit.
Thank you for calling technical department. You're talking to Sam. How can I help you?
Yeah, what is your company name?
So the company name is Premium Technical Support, and that is based out in California. How can I help you?
Chat. Yeah.
Okay, Premium Technical Support.
Get out the dang way.
What's your
Right.
address?
Sir, the company is based out in California, San Jose.
Oh god.
Alright. So if I ask you, sir, can you please tell me what kind of problem you're facing with the computer?
Yeah, it's a virus you just infected it with.
Okay. So if I ask you, sir, can you please tell me what exactly you were doing on the machine when this came up on the screen?
Oh, I don't know, went to a website and the next thing I know it pops up a little box saying to call you bastards with some kind of bribe or, you know.
You bastards.
Okay. And if I ask you, sir, is that the first time that you came across all these issues with, or you have before as well?
What's that?
I'm asking, is that very first time that you came across all these issues, or you had before as well in the past?
So what do you want? You want my IP address so you can hack me and make me a remote robot or what?
No, of course, sir. Why will I do that? I'm not a hacker.
I don't know. Why is your number there?
Because as I said, like might be it's a Trojan attack, or might be you have some infections in your computer who is creating lots of problems inside your machine. So that is why you have the alert with you, so that before it goes anything wrong, you can get it fixed. That's why you got the our number, okay? Alright. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, I'm just
Right,
curious
so-
what scam you guys are running. It's a
So look-
scam that you're running.
So what do you mean by scam?
Fraud. Fraud, scam,
Talk.
swindle. What are you selling? What are you trying to do?
I like that this is just some regular guy who's
What kind
pissed
of
off.
fucking program or whatever are you trying to sell?
Just some regular guy that's too smart and done with this shit.
You're not even in the United States.
I mean, most people that know it's a
No,
scam wouldn't
yes,
even
we
call. He's just pissed.
If you want, you can come like physically at our place in California.
Well, I'm just curious, what kind of a fraud ad are you running on a website that pops up and threatens people to call your number?
If you're a patron of mine, you can see a different ending, one which would be an instant demonetization on YouTube, but
Oh,
is
fuck.
very funny. If you would like to support me on Patreon, there's a link here and in the description
Well, if
below.
you want to see it, there it
Catch
is.
me on Twitter at JimBrowning11. Again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your support.
Good video. Wait, we should watch the BBC documentary. Probably next time though, because I gotta go soon. Buy it? Well then I can buy it, but then I can't show it. That's fucked to like show someone's Patreon content on stream.